Hi all. Just a quick tutorial on how to feed starters. Yeah. So you need is some water. It's less than 95 degrees. Warm water is better. You can use cold water also, but I think if you use warm water, I think it promotes the growth of the starter better. Some fresh flour, which I have in here. Your sourdough starter, or in my case, my sourdough starter, and it really helps if you have a scale. Um, the thing with flour is that volume-wise, flours are all different, and so what you want is you want a 1-to-1 ratio of water to flour by weight, and that's how you kind of get that right consistency. You can definitely, I'll say you can definitely eyeball it, but you could eyeball it. The consistency that I usually see in a 1-to-1 is like it's a really kind of a thick cake batter. But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and start out. I have here my starter. Ooh. And what I'll do is I'm actually gonna split this starter up into for a friend, and so I'm gonna give her some of this. I'm gonna feed it, and then of course I'm gonna feed mine as well. So give us a good mix, make sure it's all uniform, and then what I'll do is I'll pour some of this in a new container. So, okay. I don't know if you can really tell how much of this. This is probably like, I don't know, 80 grams-ish. All right, so the way that you want to do the feeding is, and it really depends on how much starter you need. If you can feed it less at a 1-to-1 ratio if it's not something you use, but if you want to have enough to say bake a loaf of bread, I probably recommend that you do 100 grams, add 100 grams of water and 100 grams of flour. So anyways, this starter here says it's 140 gram. I'm gonna zero it out, and what I like to do is I like to add the water first. So I'm gonna add 100 grams of water. Okay. And it's okay to go over as long as you go. So like, let's say I add 105 grams of water instead of 100. I just need to add 105 grams of flour. So right now that's 60 something. That's 88. 96. So just a little bit more. And that's 100. Okay. And I'll take this here and I'll go ahead and just, I like to mix the water in the sourdough starter because it uniformly distributes across the whole mixture, and I think that helps with the feeding. Okay. So you kind of see it's all, you know, kind of all uniform now. Okay. So to this, I'm going to add 100 grams of starter. Zero out my scale. And 100 grams is probably going to be about 2/3 of a cup, but definitely use your scale. So that's 50 right there, 45. That's 80. And just under 100. That's 100. Okay. Turn on my scale, and we give this a good mix. I'm actually probably going to need a bigger container than this, but we'll see what happens. So you can go ahead and mix it. I'm going to try not to lose any of the flour. And you can see it's kind of getting kind of thick. So the goal for this is that you want to incorporate it so that you don't see any dry flour anywhere in the sourdough mixture. I think the worst case scenario with this is that if it's too much, if it overflows, I can just split this up into two containers. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. You can see it's kind of thick, right? All right. Looks good. So yeah, just scrape down the sides. If it's all in there. And that's it. Let's like I said, it's probably gonna need to be transferred to another container. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and feed mine now. See, I have it in a mason jar. Can't really see it, but it's about to right here right now. And I'll do the same. I'm gonna mix 100 grams of water in and 100 grams of flour. Should put me pretty reasonably high up on the scale. So, all right. So I zeroed it out. It's currently at 0 right now, and I'll just keep pouring. So that's 67, 88, 100, 101. So I'll have to add 101 grams here. I've found that the best thing to do with these mason jars is that is using chopsticks. Spoons are kind of just doesn't get down to the bottom. So, or if you have a long spoon or something, that works too. Just give it a good mix. Like I said, if you use warm water and you mix it into your starter first before you do the flour, I think the starter is more uniformly distributed across the new product, and I think it gives you a better growth. Okay, so back on the scale, zero it out. So I have to put 101 grams. Just went a little bit over. 100 is okay too. If you're off a gram, it's okay. But try to get it closest to 1-to-1 as possible. Oh. Sorry, I've been trying to do this in a clean way. So that's 35, 36, 40, 44. Okay. Again, I'm going to try to do this as cleanly as possible. Usually I spoon it in, but it's just one more thing I have to wash. So 60, 70, 76, 80, 88, 90, 96, 100. And we'll just put a little more for good measure. Yes, ended up spilling most of it on my scale. So, all right, close enough. Okay, so drop my scale. You can see see the mess I made, and then we'll give this a good mix. Make sure that you, like I said with the previous one, you definitely want to make sure that you get everything and make sure you scrape the sides off. Looks pretty good. Looks like I just need to maybe get in there with a spoon and try to get the edges. So you see most of the batter's here, right? But there's definitely stuff up here. All right, so I think that's a pretty good job right there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move over to the spoon here. I'm gonna try to get the edges. So I'll scrape all this off. Okay, and I'm gonna get in here. Get into the. Try not to drop the spoon in there. Okay. Looks pretty good. Oh. Barely making a mess. Alright. And just give it one really good scoop. And that's it. Pretty easy. Obviously I'll scrape off the rest off the chopsticks and then clean up a little bit here. But yeah, just anyways, the balance plate you want to use for the, if you're not going to use any starter over the week in between feedings, you can definitely put less. Definitely still do 1-to-1 ratio, but you don't need to do like the full 100. Maybe just do like 30 grams and 30 grams. But if you're looking to use like a lot of starter, then definitely do like, make sure you have enough, right? All the starters are usually 1-to-1 ratio. So if a recipe asks for, say, like, oh, I need 150 grams of sourdough starter, then you need to at least add 75 grams of water and 75 grams of flour to have enough for your recipe. But yeah, pretty easy. Hope that helps.